Hey everyone, today's class will be on conditionals. So let's think of a situation. You're visiting the local McDonald's and you have some money in your pocket, and the McDonald's menu has a Big Mac. A Big Mac costs $3. Depending on the amount of money you have, you can either buy the Big Mac or not. If you have $3 or more, you can buy a Big Mac. If you have less than $3, you cannot buy a Big Mac. So in the last slide, you had to make a decision based on how much money you had. Basically, the situation can be described like this. If you have $3 or more, buy a Big Mac. In programming, you can choose to run code based on whether something is true or not, and that is called a conditional. So there are different types of conditional statements. The if statement looks for a predicate and then runs the code inside it. Remember, a predicate actually is a Boolean statement. Otherwise, it will just skip it. The if-else statement looks for a predicate and runs the if block. Otherwise, it runs the else block. In the if statement, snap checks the value of the Boolean, and if it's true, the code inside the if block is run. Otherwise, it skips over the code and continues. And this is another example of the if-else statement. In this case, snap checks the value of the Boolean after the if. And if the Boolean is true, you run in the code inside the if block, and if it is false, run the code inside the else block. Since the predicate here evaluates the true, the script will first say if block, as that say block is inside the if statement. It will then say afterwards. A biconditional is something that contains two predicates inside of it. The biconditional is also known as a predicate. It only evaluates the true if both predicates inside it are also true. If any of the predicates inside it are false, the biconditional will also be false. In this case, me is identical to me and not false means true. Therefore, both statements are true, and the biconditional evaluates the true. Since the predicate here is or, either predicate has to be true. However, me is not identical to you, and not true becomes false. Since both predicates return a Boolean value of false, the script will say else and then afterwards. Here, in this animation, the biconditional is an and, so both predicates have to be true for the biconditional predicate to be true. Here, both of them are true, as we saw previously, so the script says if block and then proceeds to say afterwards. Here, the only difference is that we have a not true predicate. Therefore, the biconditional is false, and the script says else and then afterwards. Take a minute or two to complete these exercises and wonder what are the outputs from each of these scripts. So once you have the answers to these questions, resume the video and then we can move on. So assuming you've had a go at it, we'll move on. Another type of reporter that exists is a Cadence Reporter, which can report something based on a predicate evaluating the truth. Here we see that the predicate is true, since 5 is a number, so then the block will report 5 is a number. And this is a really nice way to create a reporter with an if statement inside of it. We can now move on to the practice exercises. The first exercise is to ask the user for a number and tell them if it is positive, 0, or negative. The second exercise is to ask the user for two numbers and tell them which one is larger or if they are equal. The third one is to make Snap choose a random number from 1 to 7. If the number is 2 through 6, say it is a weekday. And if it is 1 or 7, say it is a weekend. That is the end of this presentation. For more information, email team@codivate.org or ask us on our Discord server about content covered in this presentation.